Alright, hey guys, what's going on? This is Liam, and I'm going to do a bit of a longer video here talking about meditation and tinnitus and why meditation will not cure your tinnitus. But that being said, it does play a big role in silencing tinnitus. So there are a couple of people I want to talk about in this video who have such amazing advice which really needs to be spread around. I'm going to get to that in a second, but firstly we need to understand what effect meditation has on tinnitus and why it does actually help tinnitus. Most people say to me often, maybe you've experienced this yourself, people email me and said, maybe even one of these people, because I get about 2 of these emails a week, Liam, I went on tinnitustalk.com, I went on YouTube, and everything that I saw was just, it's incurable, you're probably going to kill yourself, everything makes it worse, flying, x-rays, stress, lack of sleep. Say goodbye to the life you used to have. You're not going to be the same person, and it doesn't matter if you're 18, 14 or 65. This is it forever. And unfortunately, those are perpetuated by those rumors, so they are rumors, are perpetuated by 2 people. Researchers who aren't looking in the right place, 3 people. Researchers who aren't looking in the right place, doctors who basically are bought and paid for, okay, and they're salesmen who don't realize they're salesmen. It's true. Now, let me get one thing straight. Doctors are a vital part of society and we need them, and I will continue to see doctors for the rest of my life because we need them. So obviously if you're a doctor, I thank you for that, but there are some things which you shouldn't be meddling in, okay? And I'm pretty sure you know what they are, because I know plenty of doctors who brag to their friends about getting people to get surgeries they don't need, getting them on prescription medications. You could say you're supporting your family, but there's no need for that new Mercedes-Benz, and I know that you know that. The third thing is, they're perpetuated by people on tinnitus forums and commenters on my videos and other people's videos who just want to see other people feel as bad as they do. And unfortunately, those people never try anything. If you talk to people who talk ill of other people on the internet who are trying to help people with tinnitus, or even myself, you'll say, hey, what do you think of Liam's methods, or what do you think of X person's methods or other person's methods? And they'll go, oh, it's just terrible, it's total BS, there's no point doing it. And you say, okay, what have you tried? And I say, I don't need to try anything. You can just tell that it's just BS, which is completely ridiculous. There's no need to talk to those people, which is why I don't even look at my YouTube comments now. I've got them disabled on my computer, so I don't even see them. Because I'm still a person. It still sucks to see, fuck this dude, Liam. It's like, but then you've got to realize, who is that person? Is it just, what kind of mental state must they be in to take the time out to go create a profile, go on the video, because it's always a new profile, which is just a burn profile, and type bad stuff. Do they even have tinnitus? Anyway, so that's the third kind of people. So once again, to reiterate, the people who are lying to you and telling you that tinnitus is for life have never tried to get rid of it. They've just been good little boys and girls and listen to the doctors, and whatever the doctor says, they dogmatically take it. Okay, it's just dogma to them. It's like, if that's the be all and end all. Like, what they have their eyes shut and they'll only open a little peep just to see what the doctor says. Oh, it's incurable? Okay. I feel bad, other people should feel bad. And we're going to get to meditation in a second, but let me explain, how do you detect someone who, and this will help with your life as well, because you've got to cut these people out. Because a big part of getting rid of tinnitus is getting rid of stress. And there's emotional stress, physical stress, dietary stress, nutritional stress. You can get stress from apoptosis, you can get stress from irregular apoptosis, from electrons being stripped with free radicals, but we'll talk about that. But the thing is, how do you detect, this is lovely, I love this, how do you detect someone who is really hurting, like someone who is just dying on the inside and they're screaming out for help? How do you detect those people? They're the ones who put forward the happiest image. They're the ones who always post on their Facebook and Instagram all these, go and get it, you can do anything you want, treat people the way you want to be treated, blah, 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 blah. What is the point of that? Why are they doing that? Okay? Because I have a theory about that. This is the theory. And there's that great quote, who of course, at the moment, it just, I can't remember, I had it memorized, but now I don't. Good one, Liam. No one's perfect. But the quote is, I am who I think that you think I am. And this goes back to, you being a different person when you're with your mother or your father or your friends or your spouse or your pet or online, okay? I am who I think that you think I am. This is why people will only really listen to you if you're talking about them. Okay, or they're telling a story and the main person in the story, they can relate to that person. This is why people like movies, and a person's favorite, if you ask a person what their favorite movie is, The reason is because they will see themselves as the lead person in that movie, okay? Which is why so many men like Endgame and violent action movies, because men are more, predisposed to enjoying violence and a rough and tussle, and they want to be the king. And women obviously like the romantic comedies and rom-coms where it's like The Notebook, where it's like, oh, like it's so emotional, and I'm just basically, for lack of better words, like I'm just out of control of my emotions, because that is honestly how a lot of women run their lives. And you'll see women, and they'll often post, men will post things like, go and get it, I'm a go-getter, and women will post things like, you're in control of your destiny, don't let anybody hurt you, only spend time with those who are friends and not using you. It's because they think that they are those people, and they're not happy about it. So what they're doing is, they're posting the person they want to be online via using the story of someone else's quote and hoping people will like it and comment it so they can get reassured that, yes, I'm this new person, I want to become this new person, okay? Which is actually showing that they're in a lot of pain. Go to your friends' Facebook pages. The people who are the quietest are normally the happiest. And of course, there's different things like that. Maybe people are busy. But you'll see that someone's consistently posting motivational quotes, okay? They're normally sad, and they're normally very unhappy. So that's just something I want to talk about there. Let me just make sure the camera's still rolling, because sometimes it turns off. We're all good. So let's now talk about meditation. So let's talk about iodine first. So what does meditation directly do? We're trying to affect the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. What is that? That's the fight or flight mechanism. And Julian Cohen-Hill also taught me there's fight or flight, and Julian taught me freeze, so I recommend looking him up. That's why he's in the thumbnail of this video. Look up him, he's fantastic. He's one of the first people that ever motivated me to believe that tinnitus was curable. He's the only person who was saying it online at that stage, the only person. Everyone else I just got scammed by everyone else. He's an awesome guy. So let's look at iodine. So let's look at the mechanism of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is a stress response, and the parasympathetic nervous system is the one that brings it down, and it works like this, to an effect. And one of the main hormones in that is the hormones that are secreted from the adrenal glands, okay? And that is cortisol and some forms of epinephrine. So essentially adrenal hormones, okay? In the adrenal glands located above the kidneys. So how are these regulated? Let's first look at chemically. How are these regulated chemically? And then we'll get to emotionally. But remember, emotions are chemicals and emotions are electricity. We need the right chemicals to be secreted, and a lot of the time, those neurotransmitters need to be regulated by electricity, and people don't get that. So meditation is not the be-all and end-all, but it is very important. For example, let me get to the chemical thing in a second. Let's look at someone, for example, like Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I've read his book. Fantastic book. I only read it once about 5 years ago, probably more, but amazing book. And if you don't know his story, to summarize, basically he was in lots of emotional turmoil. He reached a breaking point, and then he, in his own words, reached a state of enlightenment where he's very, very happy and nothing affects him. But he has tinnitus, okay? He has a ringing in his ear, and he even mentions it in his book. He alludes to it. Don't let ringing in your ears affect you. And he's what I would call the ultimate habituator in regarding tinnitus, okay? Because it really doesn't affect him. Because if you look at him, it's like he's high on cocaine or ecstasy the entire time. He's very slow, he's very happy, he doesn't let anything affect him. And I believe he sat on the park bench for 4 years. And, you can imagine if you're on ecstasy, you just sit there like everything's amazing and nothing affects you, and you're just happy to look at anything like your hand, okay? It doesn't bother you. So he's kind of like that. So you really wouldn't care. This is why people say, Liam, I get drunk and I wake up and my tinnitus doesn't affect me as much. What's going on here? Well, you're drunk. You don't care as much. You don't give a shit. It helps you sleep. When you wake up, you still have alcohol in your system, so you're still kind of waking up feeling good, okay? And of course, there's sugar you could be feeding, any parasites in your mastoid bone and so on, but it's a different video. So that's that. He's an ultimate habituator, but why does he still have tinnitus? Read his book and you see in his diet he still drinks, I think it's like half a bottle of wine a night, he has carbohydrates. That's why I say he's the ultimate habituator, because he's saying, look, just do what you want, just work on your mental state. Now, how many fucking people in the world are going to reach enlightenment? How many people? Unless you devote your entire life to becoming a monk, Doisutep, Hills of Chiang Mai right there, which they do, they work on that. Unless you devote your entire life to doing that, not a fucking chance. We all have responsibilities. We didn't choose to do that when we were 6 years old. We didn't shave our heads and decide to meditate, eat only vegetables and not have sex, okay? Even though they eat meat sometimes, because otherwise they die. So The ultimate habituator. So that's ridiculous in my eyes. So he still has tinnitus because his diet is not good. So you can't tell me that meditation is the only way, because that's ridiculous. Even Julian Cohen-Hill, who's probably has the best, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, has the best meditation advice I've ever heard of regarding tinnitus. He has a video out where years ago where he shows that helped him a lot with the mindfulness and the I forget what it's called, the head techniques and stuff like that. But he even says himself that tinnitus finally went away 100% when he fixed his diet. Okay? It's twofold. It's not just diet. It's not just meditation. You got to do everything, which is why so many people say to me, Liam, but I got tinnitus this way. I got tinnitus this way. What should I do? Do everything at the same time. What are you going to do? One thing at a time? You're going to do meditation for a month and then do diet and skip meditation? What's the point in that? Sure, now you can build up to everything at once, which I recommend doing, but what would be the point in testing certain things when you do everything at the same time? It's like if you're practicing to learn soccer. Do you get fit one week, and then next week you practice catching goals, and then next week you practice kicking, and next week it's dribbling, and you do one at a time? How fucking stupid would that be? You pick the goal, and you do everything in that area every day until you get perfect at it, and you get the results you want. I'm going to check the camera again. Yeah, we're all good. So let's get on to, I'll try and wrap this video up because we've been going for, it doesn't say. Anyway, so, okay, let's look at the chemical process of the fight or flight mechanism. So you have the pineal gland in your brain, which is just at the bottom in the middle sort of your brain. Very small, tiny, okay, like an almond. And that controls your thyroid gland, which is like a butterfly. Now for women, it's twice as big. We'll talk about why that's important in a second. You have your thyroid gland. And your thyroid gland is the numero uno, number one biggest, not the only, but the biggest regulator of, you guessed it, the two little thumb-sized glands, the fight or flight mechanism, the adrenal glands, which sit just above either kidney. Okay? Now, let's explain the middle of that, and then I'll go into the end and talk about the heteroplasmic rate of the mitochondria and how that affects your capacity to hear, which is really interesting. So, iodine, okay? Everybody is deficient in iodine. I'm probably deficient in it now because I haven't taken it for a long time, and I eat plenty of seafood. You're deficient in iodine. It's an essential trace mineral that every single person needs. It's just like cholesterol, it's just like water, it's just like oxygen, although it's not as prevalent. If you went without iodine for months, okay, you would not die, even years, okay? But that's different for cholesterol. You would die without enough cholesterol, you would start to wither away. But obviously water and oxygen you would die in 3 minutes, and water, you could probably go without water for, I don't know, maybe 10 days, something like that. If you really just sat down and did nothing and dry fasted. They've done it before, it's all been done before, okay? The whole 3-day thing, total bullshit, don't believe it. Let's double check this. Cool. Sorry about that, I just want to make sure it's not going to turn off. So, my point being, iodine is the fuel of the thyroid gland. Unfortunately, when you take halide-based medications, antidepressants, SSRIs, corticosteroids, lipoflavonoids, antihistamines, things like Roaccutane, things like what's it called? To put you to sleep before a surgery. Completely forgot. You know what it's called. I apologize about that. But what's it called? Anyway, you get what I'm saying. What they will do is they will pull. Every cell has an iodine receptor except for white blood cells. They will pull the cells in your thyroid gland. Every cell needs iodine, but we're talking about your thyroid gland. Take those medications as well as tap water or toothpaste. Okay, we're talking about fluoride, chlorine, bromine, which is in swimming pools, toothpaste, medications, and food. Okay, and plastics. They will open up the iodine receptors in your cell, in your thyroid gland, and they will pull out. Okay, they will pull out the iodine, and they will replace it with normally bromine, because bromine is the most similar electron field, okay, and cellular makeup. So your iodine receptor thinks that it's iodine, but it's not, it's bromine. So what happens then? Your thyroid gland, which is supposed to regulate your fight or flight mechanism, doesn't have a delimiter on it. So what does that mean? A delimiter, or a compressor in the world of music, delimiter is for a vehicle, compressor is for music most of the time. You will have somebody playing the drums, and the snare drum is normally really loud. So it goes, okay, when the snare drum hits 50 decibels or whatever, we're going to put the compressor on it so it doesn't go above that, so it doesn't drown out everything else. We want to hear the hi-hat, we want to hear the tom-toms, we want to hear the finesse of the cymbals. But this takes it off, so it goes way too loud. So this means that anything can set you off. A bit of stress, a coffee, bad food, a bad night's sleep, messes with your adrenal hormones, your cortisol. Now, why does this affect your tinnitus? Let me explain. As you get more stressed out, stress, the hormone of cortisol, has a direct impact upon the mitochondria in all of your cells. Now, obviously, we're talking about the cells in the ears. So I explain the science or the methodology behind how hearing works. So go back and watch that if you want to watch that. I believe it's the benzodiazepine video. Okay? So your thyroid gland dysregulates your adrenal glands and your kidneys, okay, causing the fight or flight mechanism to stop working. Not only will that affect your sleep, meaning apoptosis and autophagy no longer takes place when you sleep, your sleep gets messed up, you'll start to wake up in the middle of the night, you won't get any sleep, you won't get deep sleep, you won't get REM sleep, but you might get NREM sleep, which is non-REM sleep. Read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Really good book, okay? So what happens is, let me just make sure, we're wrapping this up in a second, guys. We'll just make sure. What happens is, as you get more stressed out, the heteroplasmy rate of your mitochondria starts to expand. What does that mean? The mitochondria, multiple of them in each cell in your ear, are responsible for turning this, okay, vibration, energy, into electricity. Hits your ear canal, eardrum, malleus incus, stapes, cochlea. The water rides the hair cells, potassium ions down to the neurotransmitter. So where does the problem occur? It occurs in the point of the neurotransmitter where it's supposed to turn vibration into electricity so it can go through the nerve into the brain. You can process it from the phenomenon of hearing. Let me know if I'm talking too fast by commenting below, even though I won't read it, as I said. Sorry about that. If you do want to see me talk live and have me answer your questions, click below and go book in a time to talk live. We can talk live. But it's going to be me talking to many of you, not one-on-one. So the electron chain funneling of the mitochondria. So the mitochondria is supposed to be this shape, okay? It's kind of like a rectangle sort of, but it expands even more. Now, the mitochondria turn the vibration into electricity, very powerful. But here's what happens. If you get stressed out, it expands even more. They can't communicate with each other and the message cannot be passed on. Your ear starts to dysfunction, it cannot work anymore, and it cannot properly turn the vibration into electricity. So what does that mean? You cannot hear properly. And there's not enough energy to turn this, okay? Even, I won't do it too loud because you're hearing, but that's basically hyperacusis. That's what causes in my eye, it's hyperacusis. And also you got lactic acidosis with acetate, which dilates the arteries, causes pulsatile tinnitus, which means that you can hear the heartbeat in your ear, especially when you lay down. It's a blood flow problem, pulsatile tinnitus and tinnitus to an extent. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, if you are stressed out, if you have tinnitus, you have to attack it from both sides. You can manually deregulate the process of the heteroplasmy rate, okay? Deregulate that. You can slow down the heteroplasmy rate and even reverse it with relaxation, meditation. That's great. But do not listen to people who say that's the only way to do it. That is fucking stupid. Because what did we just talk about there? Adrenal hormones cause they accelerate the rate of heteroplasmy, which inhibits your ability to hear, which sends the warning signals to say, we don't have enough energy to hear. You're going to go deaf. Think about it. It's a defense mechanism to tell you that you're about to lose your hearing. You're going to go deaf. Sudden sensorial hearing loss, okay? That's what it is. And if you go deaf, what happens in a million years ago from our reptilian brains? You're going to fucking die. You will fucking die. If you don't hear a tiger behind you, or you don't hear a breaking branch next to you, you're dead straight away. You will just die. There's something wrong. So, coffee is a bad idea. Caffeine is a bad idea. Dark chocolate is a bad idea. Alcohol is a bad idea. Late nights are a bad idea. Blue light is a bad idea because that affects your photoreceptors in your skin, melanopsin, melanocytes. And here's the other thing. Your ears, I'll just add this in, it's not really stressful, but your ears have light receptors in them, in your inner ear, okay? Because the particles of light, remember, light travels, if you look at quantum mechanics, light travels as particles and waves, okay? And if you look at a double slit experiment, you will see that. Okay, it's very interesting. As long as you're not looking at it, which blows my mind. Light can tell when you're looking at it, which is insane. It's incredible. So you need to have light hitting your body and hitting your ears outside. Okay, be outside as much as you can. And even if it's through the clouds, strip as naked is as legal in your country. I'm sorry if you're a woman in the Middle East, you're totally fucked. But anyone else, you can do that. Okay, even if it's cloudy, get as much sunlight as you can. So to really hammer this out, I'll end it here. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything, because I tried to make it short and try to process as many things as I can and say them. Last bits of advice. Go and look up Julian Cohen-Hill. He's amazing what he does, meditation. But you also need to do everything else at once. What is everything else? Just start with taking the shit out of your diet. Just start by going to bed when the sun goes down and rising when it comes up. Ideally, but this is not possible for anyone, you would have your blinds totally open, but you can't because the light from street lights will come in. And then you would go to bed as the light goes away, and you would wake up as the sun starts to rise. When the sun starts to rise, the UV lights will regulate your cortisol and melatonin, okay? Skip coffee, because I always forget how coffee has the adenosine or adenosine, I forget, which inhibits your ability to regulate melatonin throughout the day. So you won't get tired at nighttime. And then when the caffeine wears off, it all rushes in, and you feel tired during the day, so you feel crap, and then it's a cortisol mess. And then your body tries to give you cortisol, which you shouldn't be doing at that time of the day. It's a whole thing. So basically, meditation, you can fix the electron chain funneling if you fix the heteroplasmy rate through stress reduction. How do you reduce stress? Sleep, meditation, kicking shit people out of your lives. Avoid the people who always post motivational stuff on their page, because they are hurting like shit, and they will not listen to a single second of your problems without going, interesting. Anyway, I had this thing happen to me. Listen to people's conversations when you talk to them. Friends, families, mums, co-workers, whatever. Obviously, if you work in customer service, you have to listen to their story, whatever it is. But most people are just waiting for you to shut up so they can tell you their own story. Nobody listens to anybody anymore. Nobody cares about anybody anymore. It's just the way that it works. And some people do. Find those people, and when you have someone trying to help you and listen to what you have to say, find that person and just marry them. Like that's my advice. Anyway, so that really is the end of the video on meditation and tinnitus. Hope you enjoyed, but we're not over yet. Okay, so if you really want to fix your tinnitus, you can do something more. Okay, what I want you to do is click below, or you can click in the top right hand side of the screen, which I believe will be here. Little card should come up. If it's not, just click below. Go book in a time to see me live. You have two options on that page. You can book in a time to see me live, or if you can't find an appropriate time, click there and you go on a waiting list, and I'll let you know when more times are coming. I'll set up times for the weekend. This is how you can actually see 4 steps, which is the most important, and meditation isn't even one of them. Okay? There's 4 more crucial steps in my eyes. So check that out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Click below, and that's it.